This is a calm, procedural recording. Nothing unexpected will happen. The process will repeat in the same order. How bank transactions are settled after midnight night procedure. Calm explanation. This video explains how bank transactions are settled after midnight. The explanation moves slowly. There is no urgency in this process. Nothing in this video requires your attention. The procedures described here happen every night. They are routine. They are predictable. You do not need to remember any of this information. Banks process transactions throughout the day. These transactions include deposits. They include withdrawals. They include transfers between accounts. They include payments to merchants. They include direct deposits from employers. Each transaction is recorded as it occurs, but the final settlement of these transactions happens later. Much of the settlement happens after midnight. This timing is intentional. It allows the bank to process all transactions from the day as a group. It allows systems to reconcile without interruption. The work is organized. It follows a pattern that repeats each night. A transaction begins when a customer initiates an action. They may use a debit card at a store. They may transfer money using online banking. They may deposit a check at an ATM. Each of these actions creates a record. The record contains information about the transaction. It contains the account number. It contains the amount. It contains the date and time. It contains the transaction type code. This record is stored temporarily. It waits to be processed. Throughout the day, these records accumulate. They are held in processing queues. The queues are organized by transaction type. One queue holds card transactions. Another queue holds wire transfers. Another queue holds ACH transactions. ACH stands for Automated Clearing House. It is a network that processes electronic payments. Direct deposits and automatic bill payments use ACH. Each type of transaction follows a different path through the settlement process. But all transactions eventually reach the same endpoint. They are posted to accounts. Balances are updated. Records are finalized. Banks operate on a schedule. The schedule divides time into business days. A business day does not follow the clock exactly. A business day for a bank may end at a specific cutoff time. This cutoff time is often in the late afternoon or evening. Transactions received before the cutoff are considered part of that business day. Transactions received after the cutoff are considered part of the next business day. This structure allows the bank to group transactions into batches. Batches are easier to process than individual transactions. The bank processes one batch at a time. When the cutoff time arrives, the bank closes the batch. No new transactions are added to that batch. The batch is prepared for settlement. Preparation involves several steps. The first step is sorting. Transactions within the batch are sorted by type. They are sorted by destination. They are sorted by priority. Some transactions have higher priority than others. Wire transfers are typically high priority. They are processed before other transaction types. Standard ACH transactions are lower priority. They are processed after higher priority items. The sorting ensures that transactions are handled in the correct order. Once sorted, the transactions are validated. Validation means checking that the transaction information is complete and correct. The system checks that account numbers are valid. It checks that routing numbers are correct. It checks that amounts are formatted properly. If a transaction fails validation, it is flagged. Flagged transactions are set aside. They are reviewed separately. The remaining transactions continue through the process. After validation, the transactions enter the clearing phase. Clearing is the process of exchanging transaction information between banks. When a customer at one bank sends money to an account at another bank, both banks must be informed. The sending bank must deduct the amount from the sender's account. The receiving bank must add the amount to the recipient's account. This coordination happens through clearing networks. The clearing networks are operated by third-party organizations. One of these organizations is the Federal Reserve. Another is the clearinghouse. Banks send transaction data to these networks. The networks distribute the data to the appropriate receiving banks. The clearing process happens in batches as well. A bank collects all outgoing transactions. It packages them into a file. The file is transmitted to the clearing network. The transmission happens electronically. It uses secure communication channels. The file contains hundreds or thousands of transactions. Each transaction is represented as a line of data. The data includes the routing number of the receiving bank. It includes the account number. It includes the amount. It includes a transaction code. The clearing network receives the file. It reads the file. It separates the transactions by destination bank. It creates new files for each destination. It sends these files to the receiving banks. Receiving banks accept the incoming files. They download the files to their own systems. They begin processing the transactions. Each transaction is matched to an account. The system locates the account using the account number. It verifies that the account is open and active. It verifies that the account is authorized to receive this type of transaction. If everything is correct, the transaction is accepted. The amount is added to the account's pending balance. The pending balance is separate from the available balance. The pending balance includes transactions that have been accepted but not yet finalized. The available balance includes only finalized transactions. Throughout the night, transactions move from pending to available. This happens as the settlement process completes. Settlement is the final step. Settlement is when funds actually move between banks. During the clearing phase, only information was exchanged. During the settlement phase, the banks adjust their positions with each other. If bank A sent more money to Bank B than it received from Bank B, then Bank A owes Bank B the difference. This difference is called the net settlement amount. The net settlement amount is calculated by the clearing network. The clearing network adds up all transactions in both directions. It subtracts the smaller total from the larger total. The result is the net amount. Banks maintain accounts at the Federal Reserve. These accounts are called reserve accounts. Settlement happens by transferring funds between reserve accounts. If Bank A owes Bank B money, the Federal Reserve debits Bank A's reserve account. It credits Bank B's reserve account. The transfer is recorded. The settlement is complete. This settlement process happens after midnight. The exact time varies depending on the transaction type. Wire transfers settle in real time throughout the day. ACH transactions settle in batches overnight. The overnight settlement typically begins around 1:00 a.m. It continues for several hours. The process is automated. Computers perform the calculations. Computers execute the transfers. Human staff monitor the process. They watch for errors. They watch for exceptions. Most nights, the process completes without issues. While settlement is happening, banks also perform reconciliation. Reconciliation means comparing records to ensure they match. The bank's internal records are compared to the clearing network's records. The amounts should be identical. If there is a difference, it must be investigated. Reconciliation happens in stages. First, the bank reconciles its outgoing transactions. It checks that every transaction it sent was received by the clearing network. It checks that the amounts match. It checks that the transaction codes are correct. If everything matches, the outgoing reconciliation is complete. Next, the bank reconciles its incoming transactions. It checks that every transaction it received from the clearing network is recorded in its system. It checks that the amounts match. It checks that the transactions were posted to the correct accounts. If everything matches, the incoming reconciliation is complete. If discrepancies are found, they are logged. A discrepancy is any difference between the two sets of records. The difference might be a missing transaction. It might be an incorrect amount. It might be a duplicate entry. Each discrepancy is investigated during the night. Staff members review the transaction records. They trace the transaction to the system. They identify where the error occurred. They make corrections. The corrections are documented. The records are updated. The reconciliation continues. After reconciliation, the bank updates account balances. The pending transactions become available transactions. The available balance changes. Customers who check their accounts in the morning will see the updated balance. The update happens automatically. No action is required from the customer. The system processes the update. The change is recorded in the account history. Account history is a log of all transactions. The log is stored in the bank's database. Each entry in the log includes the transaction date. It includes the transaction type. It includes the amount. It includes a description. The description identifies what the transaction was for. It might say debit card purchase. It might say ACH deposit. It might say wire transfer. The description helps customers understand the transaction. The database that stores account information is very large. It contains records for millions of accounts. Each account has thousands of transactions over time. The database is organized to allow quick retrieval. When a customer logs into online banking, the system queries the database. It retrieves the account information. It displays the current balance. It displays recent transactions. This happens in a fraction of a second. But maintaining the database requires ongoing work. Throughout the night, the database is updated with the day's transactions. The updates are applied in batches. One batch is processed. Then the next batch. Then the next. The database grows incrementally. The bank also performs backup operations at night. Backups are copies of the database. The copies are stored in separate locations. If the primary database experiences a failure, the backup can be used to restore the data. Backups are created automatically. The process begins after the settlement process completes. The system creates a snapshot of the database. The snapshot captures the state of all accounts at that moment. The snapshot is compressed. It is encrypted. It is transferred to backup storage. The transfer may take several hours. The process runs in the background. It does not interfere with other operations. While backups are running, the bank systems continue to operate. ATMs remain functional. Online banking remains accessible. Customer service representatives can access account information. The systems are designed to handle multiple processes simultaneously. Each process runs independently. Each process has allocated resources. The resources include processing power. They include memory. They include network bandwidth. The allocation ensures that no single process overwhelms the system. Some banks process international transactions. International transactions involve currency conversion. They involve coordination with banks in other countries. These transactions follow a similar settlement process, but they use different clearing networks. One such network is SWIFT. SWIFT stands for Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. It is a messaging network used by banks around the world. When a bank sends an international payment, it sends a SWIFT message. The message contains the payment details. It contains the sender's bank information. It contains the recipient's bank information. It contains the amount in currency. The message is routed through the SWIFT network. It arrives at the recipient's bank. The recipient's bank processes the payment. It credits the recipient's account. Currency conversion happens during this process. If the sender's account is in dollars and the recipient's account is in euros, the amount must be converted. The conversion uses an exchange rate. The exchange rate is determined by the market. It fluctuates throughout the day. Banks use the exchange rate that is active at the time of processing. The conversion is calculated automatically. The system applies the rate. It converts the amount. It records the converted amount in the transaction record. International settlements take longer than domestic settlements. They may take 1 to 3 business days. The delay is due to time zones. It is due to the number of intermediary banks involved. Some international payments pass through multiple banks before reaching the destination. Each bank processes the payment during its business hours. The payment moves in stages. It moves from one bank to the next. Eventually, it reaches the final destination. The recipient's account is credited. The transaction is complete. Throughout the night, transaction logs are generated. A transaction log is a record of every action taken by the system. Every debit is logged. Every credit is logged. Every file transmission is logged. Every error is logged. The logs are stored in a separate database. They are used for auditing. Auditors review the logs to ensure the bank is following proper procedures. They check that transactions are processed correctly. They check that security protocols are followed. They check that errors are handled appropriately. The logs provide a complete history. They can be searched by date. They can be searched by transaction type. They can be searched by account number. Security systems operate continuously. These systems monitor for unusual activity. They monitor for patterns that might indicate unauthorized access. They monitor for large transactions that fall outside normal parameters. If unusual activity is detected, an alert is generated. The alert is sent to security staff. The staff review the activity. They determine whether it is legitimate. If it is legitimate, they clear the alert. If it is not legitimate, they take action. They may freeze an account temporarily. They may contact the account holder. They may escalate the issue to a supervisor. The security systems use algorithms. The algorithms analyze transaction data in real time. They compare each transaction to historical patterns. If a transaction deviates significantly from the pattern, it is flagged. Account holders are not aware of most of this activity. The processes happen in the background. The systems work automatically. The account holder simply sees the result. They see their balance update. They see their transactions post. They see their deposits become available. The underlying work is invisible to them, but it is continuous. After settlement completes, the bank generates reports. These reports summarize the night's activity. They show the total number of transactions processed. They show the total dollar volume. They show the number of exceptions. They show the number of items reconciled. The reports are distributed to management. Management reviews the reports. They check for trends. They check for issues that need attention. Most reports show that everything proceeded normally. The night shift staff complete their work. They hand off any unresolved items to the day shift. The day shift arrives. They review the handoff notes. They continue the work. The cycle repeats. Each night, the process is the same. Transactions are collected. They are sorted. They are validated. They are cleared. They are settled. Balances are updated. Records are reconciled. Logs are generated. Backups are created. Reports are distributed. The system is designed for consistency. It follows the same steps in the same order. It uses the same networks. It applies the same rules. The consistency ensures reliability. Customers expect their transactions to be processed. They expect their balances to be accurate. They expect the system to work. The overnight procedures ensure this happens. The procedures are not complicated. They are simply repetitive. They involve many small steps. Each step is simple. Each step is necessary. Together, the steps create a complete process. The process handles millions of transactions. It handles them accurately. It handles them every night. The computers that run these systems are located in data centers. Data centers are buildings designed to house computer equipment. They have redundant power supplies. They have cooling systems to prevent overheating. They have physical security. They have fire suppression systems. The environment is controlled. The temperature is regulated. The humidity is regulated. The equipment operates within specified parameters. The data centers operate continuously. They do not shut down at night. They do not shut down on weekends. They do not shut down on holidays. The systems must be available at all times. Customers expect to access their accounts at any time. The bank must be able to process transactions at any time. The data centers make this possible. Technicians monitor the data centers. They watch for alerts. They watch for hardware failures. They watch for performance issues. If a problem is detected, they respond. They may replace a failed component. They may restart a service. They may reroute network traffic. The goal is to minimize any disruption. Most issues are resolved quickly. The systems continue operating. The overnight settlement process is part of a larger framework. The framework includes daytime transaction processing. It includes customer service operations. It includes lending operations. It includes investment operations. All of these areas generate transactions. All of these transactions must be settled. The overnight process handles the settlement. It ensures that all parts of the bank remain in sync. Account balances must always be accurate. If a customer deposits money, their balance must increase by that amount. If a customer withdraws money, their balance must decrease by that amount. The math must be exact. The overnight settlement process ensures this accuracy. It adds up all the debits. It adds up all the credits. It applies them to the correct accounts. It verifies that the totals match. Verification happens at multiple points. It happens when transactions are validated. It happens during clearing. It happens during settlement. It happens during reconciliation. Each verification is a check. The check confirms that the data is correct. If the data is not correct, the check fails. The system stops. The error is investigated. The error is corrected. The process continues. Errors are uncommon. The systems are reliable. They have been refined over many years. They have been tested extensively. They handle edge cases. They handle unusual situations. They are designed to be robust. But when errors do occur, they are handled methodically. They are documented. They are reviewed. Improvements are made to prevent similar errors in the future. The overnight staff work in shifts. One shift may run from midnight to 8:00 a.m. Another shift may run from 8:00 a.m. to 4:00 p.m. Another shift may run from 4:00 p.m. to midnight. The shifts overlap slightly. This allows for handoffs. The outgoing shift briefs the incoming shift. They discuss any issues that occurred. They discuss any items that need attention. The incoming shift takes over. The work continues without interruption. Communication between shifts is documented. Notes are entered into a shared system. The notes describe the status of various processes. They describe any exceptions. They describe any actions taken. The next shift reads these notes. They understand what happened during the previous shift. They know what needs to be done next. The documentation ensures continuity. The settlement process involves many participants. It involves the bank's internal systems. It involves clearing networks. It involves other banks. It involves the Federal Reserve. It involves payment processors. Each participant has a role. Each participant performs their role according to established procedures. The procedures are standardized. They are documented in technical specifications. The specifications describe message formats. They describe timing requirements. They describe error handling. All participants follow these specifications. This ensures interoperability. Message formats are structured. A message contains fields. Each field has a specific purpose. One field contains the transaction amount. One field contains the account number. One field contains the routing number. One field contains the transaction date. The fields are arranged in a specific order. The order is defined by the specification. Systems read the messages by parsing the fields. They extract the data from each field. They use the data to process the transaction. Timing is important. Transactions must be processed within certain windows. If a transaction misses a window, it is processed during the next window. The windows are determined by the clearing network schedule. The schedule specifies cutoff times. It specifies processing times. It specifies settlement times. Banks align their internal schedules with these external schedules. This ensures that transactions flow smoothly through the system. The settlement process is part of the broader financial system. The financial system includes banks. It includes credit unions. It includes payment processors. It includes card networks. It includes stock exchanges. It includes regulatory agencies. All of these entities interact. They exchange information. They transfer funds. They settle obligations. The overnight settlement process is one piece of this larger system. The process is reliable because it is routine. It happens the same way every night. The systems execute the same steps. The staff follow the same procedures. The results are predictable. Customers can rely on the system. They know their transactions will be processed. They know their balances will be accurate. They know the bank is operating properly. The work is not visible. It happens in data centers. It happens on servers. It happens in networks. Customers do not see it, but it is always happening. Every night, every transaction, every account. The systems process the data. The networks transmit the data. The databases store the data. The staff monitor the processes. Everything functions as designed. Batches are closed. Files are transmitted. Transactions are cleared. Settlements are executed. Balances are updated. Logs are written. Backups are created. Reports are generated. The process is complete. The next batch begins. The cycle continues. Transactions move through queues. They wait their turn. They are processed in order, one after another. The system does not hurry. It moves at a steady pace. It processes each transaction completely before moving to the next. It verifies each step before continuing. It maintains accuracy. Account records are updated. New balances are calculated. The calculations are stored. The changes are logged. The overnight hours are quiet. Fewer customers are active. Fewer transactions are initiated. The system has capacity to process the accumulated work. It uses this capacity efficiently. Processes run in parallel. Settlement happens while reconciliation happens. Backups happen while reports are generated. The system manages multiple tasks. Each task completes in its own time. By morning, the work is done. The day's transactions have been settled. The accounts are ready. The system is ready. And the process will repeat tonight. The same steps. The same systems. The same routine. The work continues. The systems operate. The transactions settle. The records update. Everything is processed. Everything is logged. Everything is verified. The procedures are followed. The systems function. The settlement completes. And it will happen again tomorrow night. And the night after. And the night after that. The process is continuous. The process is steady. The process is routine. Transactions are settled. Balances are accurate. Records are complete. The work is done. The systems rest briefly and then begin again.